G'day Toby, it's Jason Hawkins here from K&D Digital. Nice to see you again. Well, I can't see you, but I'm just looking at your site through the eyes of the internet. Hopefully you had a good Gold Coast Expo last week and found a few things that might be helpful. So this is just kicking off the analysis of your site you entered last week. So I thought I'd just prepare an overview of where your site's at. I remember you saying that you're actually thinking about a full rebuild, and so maybe some ideas that I'd get through today will spark some of those ideas and give you an idea of what you should sort of maybe expand to. From a front end perspective, I'll go through your site. Your site is simple, and you said that it's a one page scroller. It says the right things. It's probably the site you set up when you first started. And there's a lot of opportunity to expand it out further. From an entry perspective and from a usability perspective, it's not I don't have a real lot to say here because it's a one pager basic, but it says the right things. Efficient finance solution fit for you. You're going through to your contact us, which is just your form at the bottom. In our experience, the best thing you can do if you are selling yourself through this or depending on how you're trying to expand the business, make it personal. So people want to connect with people, especially in the finance and consulting game, in our experience. So don't be afraid to have a phone number directly here. Not everyone wants to fill in a form. So have all the options available to them at that time. Just the form on the page with no contact details and address and bona fide detail about who you are and what you do. Leaves it to a bit of mystery, and your prospects don't need mystery. They just need to dive in and be able to call the person that they need to call. Very easy to switch to a competitor's site if that's the case. I know this is probably just really supporting your consulting business and referral-based business to say you've got, I'm a real person, and you do that up here in your profile. But you don't mention your name here in this particular paragraph. So really, again, mate, don't hesitate to make it a bit more personal if you're going to stay that size, or actually just start to expand it out with your team and those profiles. It makes a huge difference. So I'll have a look quickly at a few other things around the site's health. Because it's a one-pager, I've run your site through a site auditing tool, a health auditing tool, if you like. You have no problems with your site audit. It's a one-pager. You've got no real broken links or anything like that. You're getting a great website health score. There's no obvious errors. There's a few minor warnings, but I've seen much worse than that. You're doing quite well in that space. So the other thing to do to have a close look at that is the site load flow. If you like the technical load flow of the site, you're getting all good numbers there. But again, it's a one pager. You're not going to have really too many issues there. The Web Vitals, you also get a good score, which is when Google's more. They're moving into assessing that as a ranking. Part of your ranking algorithm. You do have a problem. There's one sort of error in the load flow, which is to do with a Google font that it's trying to get that it can't find, so it's defaulting to another. So you could get your developer to have a look at that to get rid of that red loading issue. Let's have a look at that's it for the technical stuff. Let's have a look at your position for SEO. Now, this is saying you have a visibility of 20%. Well, you don't actually. You're only ranking for your, Belfoot finance search. Your position 1, obviously, which is great. So you don't have that competitor thing going on with with that. However, if I look at that search, if I just do Belford Finance, it's bringing back a finance company that's in Paris, which isn't great, albeit in the map, albeit your website is appearing here. So just be aware of that. And you could actually improve this with a solid Google My Business profile. So usually when you search and get a result for a business name, your profile will appear over here in this space with photo, opening times, reviews, etc. So my advice would be to absolutely set up the Google My Business profile, and then your site will appear. You can have direct inquiry through there. It's just a better place to be. Some of your other services now, I see on your Facebook page that you're doing a lot of car finance, and I spoke to you. You were saying equipment finance is your thing as well. Now, obviously you're not ranking for those. This is an incredibly competitive space online, as you know. So don't. The question is, how aggressively do you chase that? And this would be where, in any sort of redesign of your site, you'd look at introducing particular landing pages to suit your real target. If it's car finance or car loans Sydney, or car loans Central Coast, or whatever that location might be, then you'll need to have individual pages for that. Don't get lost in a long page like you've got at the moment. Set up individual pages for each of those service offerings. I'll show you an example of that in a little bit. So you're currently not ranking for any of those, but that's really why with a one-page website you've got no real chance to rank. And your domain, if it's only 2 years old or going on 3 years old, will take a while to list, if you like, but you don't have any direct content related to each of those services. So that's where you need to head around expanding out your site. Know your services that your clients are talking to. The one thing you're doing really well is your Facebook page. Well done with this. You've got a really good flow of client testimonials. It's awesome getting your clients really involved in your site, and is great for referrals and getting that cross flow of content. You can feed that, you should be feeding that into your site here. We need fresh content in your website, and that you just don't have that going on. So using this content here also on your website is absolutely critical. The other thing that you should think about, obviously, when you're trying to get a finance lead through your site, the big thing is speed and trust. How quickly can you encourage a person to trust you and your brand in those first sort of 2 to 5 seconds of interacting with your business? So and obviously your brand is a big part of that, but also, what can you do with reviews to be part of that? One of our clients is EasyLend, who do car finance and, all these personal. So, similar to like yourself, but these guys are a national business. They use Trustpilot for this. So in the process of closing out a loan, they also send a follow-up, say, hey, if you really enjoyed our service, please give us a review on Trustpilot. So this works really well for embedding that confidence and trust instantly in the sale. Like, they've got 929 reviews, all 5-star. Winning. Have a think about that when you are starting to go down that process. One of our other clients is QPF Finance. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this in is your site doesn't at the moment really encourage, you've got a contact us button, but you really need to be going, hey, what's the call to action? Get a quote, ask us for a loan. In EasyLend's case, it's, just calculate your how much you want to borrow, and then it's, get a pre-approval. So they get these inquiries flowing all throughout the day because they've got this sort of functionality embedded in their site. There's a process of capturing data so they can start the conversation. QPF are a little bit more sort of B2B focused in their approach process. So, here's your equipment finance. It drops you straight into a simple quote, not too complicated, simple enough to grab the data that you need to get that get that click. You really just want to start the conversation. You don't necessarily want everyone to hand over all their information. So just keep that in mind. Calls to action. This also works well. You may not be able to, like a chat is great for that instant comms that people may not want to pick up the phone, but they'll use chat service instead. So there's lots of opportunity there for you to expand out your site to really grow your business online. It's very competitive, as you know, but you'll only know by creating some of those landing pages. And then you could, if you're particularly location focused, you could do some Google ads to land on those particular services and get that inquiry through. But I wouldn't do that without getting landing pages and calls to action in place, ready to roll. So fresh content I've spoken about. Your speed is good. Your site health is good. Your position needs a lot of work. Your Google ranking position needs a lot of work. But overall, I love the brand. You've got a great opportunity to expand it out online if you really want to go down that path. So thank you very much. This is K&D Digital. I'll reach out to you in email, and you'll see this in a link. Thanks very much for listening, and I'll talk to you soon, Toby. And good luck for the start of the financial year. Cheers.